Hey guys, Big J here from the Centre Bounce. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Tuesday afternoon / nighttime. Apologies that the team review hasn't come out a little bit earlier. Had some internet issues, had some other things happening. So we are here. I am trying to get these videos out as soon as I can throughout the week. And I tell you what, as the season starts to go ahead, as kind of a lot of people like myself are running out of trades a little bit, you kind of take notice of how your team's going, have a look at how things are going as well, and kind of assess and say, hey, my team needs to do this. I need to do this. These are the players that I need to look out for. So I'll go a little bit in depth with that in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We did go up in ranks a little bit, so I'm very, very happy, even though a few primos hit the bed. So hopefully you enjoy. Haha! Let's make this work better for us. Now we know this is live and uncut because I'm a crazy man. This week we scored 25-12. So it wasn't too bad. There were quite a few misses, and I think the lowest score will go into the team and have a look at how we're going. But the lowest score we had was a 68, which was Levi Ashcroft. So considering he was on, 14 at quarter time, I'll take it. It meant that Patton being on field for Trainer really didn't matter too much because Trainer's score wasn't going to be counted anyway. So if we had Connor Stone on there, we would have got an extra 3 or 4 points. It doesn't really matter too much. It's all semantics. We moved up 159 spots. So season rank currently of 722. Pretty happy with the way the team's going, considering I have made some bloody shocking trades. Maybe not in the light of what Skodfather's been saying about, hey, hindsight's a pain and whatnot. It's not been shocking trades. It's been trades that really haven't worked out as well. We got rid of Rosie. Obviously, he's doing well. We got rid of Horn Francis. Obviously, he's doing well. Even Matt Roberts came and burnt us after a couple of crappy runs. But you know who we did bring in? We brought in Nick Dacos. I wouldn't have been able to afford Brayshaw if I didn't get rid of one of those guys as well. So it kind of evens out a little bit. The plan has a lot of things to work out, but let's check out how the team's gone and we'll have a look and have a bit of a chat about the rest of everything. So nice to have a bit of cash in the bank, which is great. In the backline, Lockie Whitfield, 104. He just keeps trudging on. I would have loved a higher score from him, but what can you do? Clark, 114. Nice to see him get over the hump a little bit, as you say. Few sub-100 scores recently. I mean, they have been 96, 98 mark, but nice to see him actually score a little bit more and not do this really weird thing, which he's done in the last couple of weeks, which is basically like 5 minutes to go, he somehow gets 20 points. So 114, pretty happy. Dane Zorko, 104, not too bad. Riley Bice, 101, very happy with him. Slowly turning into a primo selection, which is what we want, obviously. Zach Reed, 90. So I definitely fielded him versus, I think it was Melbourne, who they played last week. So we did have Luke Trainer, 66. And then Patton got named, which was great. So I was very happy. And then Patton was on 30 at quarter time. And I was very happy. I was like, yeah, Ben Patton, let's go. And then Patton got injured. And it wasn't great. And now he's TBC. So it kind of hurts us a little bit. Carroll, 54, we brought him in last week, so that worked out all right for us. Into the midfield, Brayshaw, 157. So this week was a really weird one because alongside Cherry, there's actually quite a few really high captaincy options. So for those that don't have Max Gawn, I think it's like 25% own him. 5 or 6% ended up going captaincy for Max Gawn or vice captain. But everyone else was kind of saved a little bit. We had Brayshaw, 157. Few people went Nick Dacos, okay. Few people went Sheasel, I saw as well. Quite a few picked Cherry. So, you know, the disparity between a 174 and a 125, for example, was mitigated a little bit by some of these scores. And Hewitt, I think, went okay. There were a couple of others as well that went big that we didn't own. I mean, if I didn't have Bailey Humphrey, and he went 150 odd. So sucks for the people that traded him out, unfortunately. But it's just that kind of thing where the advantage that I had, cool. But then all these other guys I didn't have went massive. So that's just Supercoach, hey? They cost 125. Nice there. Zach Merritt, 89. Now, this is where it kind of hurt quite a lot because guys like Zach Reed ended up outscoring half of, well, yeah, I'm basically going to say half my midfield. Zach Reed outscored. Even Pal Pepper outscored even a further amount of those as well. So Merritt, 89. Hasn't looked good since I brought him in. Brought him in at 610K and thought, hey, he's going to be okay. He's going to score us some points. It's been a bit of a waste of a trade at the moment. It's not a nice thing to say, but it is. Harry Sheasel, 135, lined up in North Melbourne's backline for parts. Looks like he's going to be training there again this week. So hopefully O's that actually held a primo is going to be scoring okay. Chera, 81. All right, not too bad. Was off for groin injury. So in the third/the fourth quarter and didn't really do much afterwards. So, we'll see what happens with that. He is up for a 1-week suspension as well and it was a nothing. Head high, punch, push, whatever you want to say. The opposition fell on the floor. Yeah, hopefully he gets off. If he doesn't, he's probably on the chopping block for ourselves, considering I never really wanted him to be a keeper anyway. Someone who I hope could be a keeper is Jordan Dawson. Now, his stats from last week were shocking. We have a look at Fan Footy, all the stats, as we always do. Jordan Dawson hopefully never does this again ever. Now, if it was fantasy, we'd be okay. We don't care. If we play fantasy, we don't give a shit. But we obviously play Supercoach where the game actually matters, how you kick the ball actually matters. And the boy had 7 clangers and went at 42%. So we don't expect that to happen ever again. He almost felt like as well he got relegated to the forward line for periods of time too. So really wasn't a nice position for him to be in. I think with Fogarty out, I don't know what they were trying to do. Nix is a bit of a nuffy, and Jordan Dawson, I think he had a fourth quarter where he didn't touch the ball. So, yeah, it was not great. And for us that have him in our Supercoach teams, this is where I potentially could have scored, let's say, 2570, 2590, heading into the 2600s if a Zach Merritt went like 130, 120, same with the Jordan Dawson. There's an 80, 90 points. Cool. I'm now scoring a lot more. So other people had better players. I had these 2 nuffies. Hopefully they're okay. Clayton Oliver definitely keeping for another week, but he may. I really do consider Jordan Dawson okay at M8, but Oliver and Cherry need to go. They're not going to be keepers at their price and their scoring potential, so they definitely need to go. Oliver, I think a lot of us had chosen him to be, hey, he's going to average 110, 115. Finally had a preseason. Does he get back to form? Whatever. He's barely averaging 100, or just under. So it's been a bit of disappointment. But we spend 480K and we get a 480K scorer. So it just happens that way. Camporelli looped for Lindsay, so we did quite well with him. Unluckily, Clay Hall, Gross, and Camporelli didn't play. I don't think Campo's ever coming back. His VFL stats are not great, and his brother's doing a lot better. So unless Supercoach screws up and gives us the L instead of the B for 1 week, cool. Maybe we end up swapping him to a Hust weight and just cop the 7K loss or whatever it is for that. It happens, right? So Lindsay on field did all right, 78. Didn't get a couple of intercept marks, I think, similar to a trainer as well. So I don't know what was up with Supercoach then, but it happens. Max Gawn, captaincy on the Max Gawn, vice captain, ended up being the captaincy due to the loophole. It feels really good to have a player earlier on in the weekend end up being your vice captain. So we just had to do nothing the rest of the week. Basically, everyone had to scramble to try and cover Max Gawn, which was fantastic for us. The conning, I don't think Pitnet is ever coming back. So it works out great. I don't think he'll be as good against Riley O'Brien, who seems to nullify opposition mids. So opposition ruckman. But the conning does a lot around the ground. So hopefully that might help him in good stead a little bit as well. Excuse me. Boyd obviously didn't play. Rankin 120. Nice to see him back to some form. Similar to Bailey Smith. Now, at the start of the video, I was talking about players I traded out. I wouldn't have been able to get Bailey Smith if I didn't trade out some players earlier on because I just didn't have him in my team. I didn't start him. Started Connor Rosie, started a Roberts, started a Horn Francis. I think I went Horn Francis to Smith and made 120k. So it worked out in my favour that way. Yes, Horn Francis is doing great, but come round 13, I'm trying to get him back into the team to finish it off. So it's not too bad. McRae, 77, bit of a poor game from himself, similar to Caleb Daniel, who could have single-handedly lost the game for North Melbourne on the weekend. I think he had something like 5 turnovers just straight from kick-ins. It wasn't great. So bit of a loss there. Pal Pepper, 98. It was annoying because he was on 103 and then he got scaled down. So it happens. Ashcroft, 68, as we spoke about. And 1 second as I move myself across again. Kako, 49. And then Connor Stone, who should be in line to finally get over 200k. So I know it's a bit of a meme at the moment, but yeah, Connor Stone going to be 200k next week, hopefully, after his game against Sydney. And just a big role player. I don't think he's ever going to get dropped. He's not a Whitfield. He's not a Lockie Ash, who if you guys had him in your teams, you'd be dominating right now. He just plays a role and gets the ball and seems to be building into something a little bit. And I love these type of players. I think Moraes, who I got rid of last week, unfortunately, is going to have a similar week as well at some point where they just go big. We saw it with Davidson. He hasn't been as good since, but we definitely saw it with him. Connor Stone has been that type of player, and Zach Reed / trainer keep being those type of players for us. Just trudging along. Cool, we don't have to trade them out. It's not a big deal. Kako, 49, isn't great. I think he may be on the chopping block for ourselves. Did smash his break even, which was nice. Kicked a goal or two. Break even at 25, but there's another player who's around the similar price that I want to bring in instead. Just looks really good. Wants that cash gen. We'll talk about cash gen in a little bit, but I'm desperate for it. I need these guys to start getting to 300-400k if possible. That may mean trading out 1 or 2 of them. So that might be what we're doing this week. It's all dependent on Chera. Nice to have Matt Flynn in the team as well. So he was on, 34 at halftime, looking like the biggest bust of a pick. He wouldn't even hit his break even. Ended up with the 105, which brought us over 2,500 score. Super low break even. Even if he ends up getting to 450k, that's an extra 300k-ish that I can use to fill up these positions. Like Matt Flynn out for a rookie, Oliver Chera now becomes Butters and Bond. Like, how much better would this look? And who cares about flex? Truly, who cares about flex? I'll get another primo in. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But him single-handedly could finish off my team. Yes, he could be a keeper at 275 or 265k, cool. But single-handedly, he could just end up being the player that I want, and that's kind of works out well. So this week in itself, what I love to do as well is if I quickly check out. So 15,102, something we've been doing the last couple of weeks, just to gauge on where we are in terms of rankings and whatnot. Pull up the calculator. So 15,102 minus, where are we at? 1,5,5,1,7. Cool. So we're 415 points away from rank 1. I think we went backwards a little bit. It wasn't a great week from my primos. So I think last week we were 390 and then ended up going backwards. So it is doable. I am hoping for a top 500 finish this year, which is very, very doable considering, if we forget the top rank, we go down to, let's say, down here, for example. If I want to pretend, hey, I'm trying to get 50th this year, I'm only 120 points away. Sorry, 220 points. It's nothing. It really is nothing. So it's very doable. Very, very, very doable. I mean, Coopsy jumped up 126 points this week. Spots on the rankings. So it's very doable. It's just about primos, about nailing the captaincy scores, which I think we've been doing very well at the moment. I think from memory, my captaincy at the moment is around 140 points every week. So, yeah, I'm almost picking the best player. I think there was one week where Nick Dacos went big, which is and the one before Anzac Day when we brought him in, 170, didn't end up picking him. And then the Jack McRae 120 versus like a 128. So it works out fine for us. Let's pretend we're going to run with this team at the moment, and I'll show you guys kind of where my thinking is. Supercoach decides to play around properly with me and not move too much. Trainer comes on field. Lindsay comes here. And let's go into it. Cool. We're going to captain Brayshaw because he's the highest scoring this week. 2,346, which is great. Biggest deficiencies in my team at the moment really is cash gen. And even worse so with a Ben Patton being TBC. I don't think he's ever coming back, which really sucks. It's nice that we got an extra 30K out of him. I would have loved an extra 80 to 100 to 300K out of him. Heck, he could come back this week after scans. They're happening right now, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to downgrade him mid-season and get 80K out of the trade, 70-ish, 65-ish, let's pretend, K out of the trade. It's going to work out all right for us. There'll be rookies mid-year in the defense that we can bring in. It's going to work out fine. But for the purpose of this, we need cash. And that's where few people have traded out Trainer. Few people have traded out a Reed. For myself, I don't think feasibly I can. There is potential for me to trade a Trainer out for a guy that I want to bring into the team. We'll see. So, trade scenario number one, Chera plays. Cool. We can hold him for another week or two. And, he's going to score us 80 to 100. Doesn't matter. I want to shore up the cash gen here. So, trade scenario number one, Sardis plays. Cool. He's named. He's going to score well. He's been dominating the VFL. If we pull up DFS, if you guys haven't used DFS Australia before, I'm sure you have. We talk about it all the time. Elijah Sardis has done very well in the VFL the last couple of weeks. So, where was he? Round 4. Was that 32 touches? I think he was named emergency, so he didn't play last week. But the scoring and potential's there, right? We know what we're going to get from him. He's going to score well, things like that. So we just need him to be named. We know that, hey, he's basically points for minute. So North Melbourne's midfield is okay. Hypothetically, he gets named. If he does get named, the plan was to go Hall out and then Keiko out, bring in big boy Sardis, and then Leary in here, who I wish I had started alongside Hewitt. I would have loved to put Hewitt in here, but I do not have enough money, which is bloody frustrating because I know he's going to end up scoring well and still has a negative break even alongside Cleary that has a positive break even, but I think he'll be a little bit better. I can bring in Cleary instead of Hewitt if I wanted to, and then potentially bring in Sardis. Let's have a quick look, which sucks because I actually started Cleary. So I can bring in Sardis as well. I have enough money. That was kind of the plan. Let's just put Cleary back. Sorry, guys. Bit of an intermission here. Cool. So we go Sardis, we go Cleary. The idea and the reasoning behind this is I think I'm okay for scoring on field. I've got Ashcroft, cool. If he averages a 75, I'm happy. Got Pal Pepper, who's been on a bit of a tear at the moment. He's giving me 80 scores. I'm happy as well. Lindsay should be similar around the mark, and then you've got the guys in the back line. So I don't mind it too much. The fact that it is best 22 out of 23 really does help because, hey, one or two guys there scoring poorly, as we saw last week, should be covered by everyone else. I'm just looking for these guys on bench to mature in cash. Heck, if Carroll can get to 250K, we're laughing. If Sardis can get to 300K, we're even more laughing. If Gross plays this week, I think he did quite well in the VFL. Sorry, in the Waffle. Let me have a quick look. Joe was talking a little bit about him today. Yeah, so 24 touches, got a few tackles, freeze, kicked a goal. Like it's okay numbers. I think they need some help in the midfield, so we'll see what happens with them. Potentially, I can get raised some money, even if it ends up being Flynn having to offload, which I'm more than happy to do. Like right now, if Flynn gets the 450k, cool. 150k, 150k, done. Backline's done, and then we just fill out the rest. It's not a big problem. But it's just about generating cash here and generating money. And few people have Max Hall. Fantastic. Great for them. Few people still have Murphy Reed or a Langford and things like that there. I unfortunately don't have these players because, as we saw in the last couple of weeks, I picked a Gross instead of a Cleary. So I've now had to pay, an extra 100k to get in the same type of player. Similar to a Hewitt and things like that. So it's more just about being unlucky on the rookie front versus anything else. I just need to bring up the cash gen, things like that. Cool. All right. That's kind of the first idea. Scoring on field's great. Cool. They're not great. So if we undo and have a bit of a look, second trade type scenario. Hopefully you guys are still watching. If you are, like, share, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what your plans are and what you scored in round 7. So have a quick look. Hypothetically, Chera is out for some reason due to injury, due to being suspended. Cool. Swizz from Supercoach Insider brought up an interesting point as well, that you can hold Chera as much as you want, but if he's out this week, he's out for 2 weeks in the next 5 due to round 12. So it might be the right time to get rid of him. There's quite a few players in the midfield that I want. So if it means I have to get rid of a Chera now, I'm not too fussed, as much as that says. So I need Dunkley. I need a Sinclair. Probably need a Lockie Neal. There's a couple of others on here potentially that I want as well for that midfield to finish it off. Bont and Butters as well, potentially. So we can make the money. We can bring these players in. They're just bloody expensive at the moment. So there's a lot of value in there as well. Sinclair's got a couple of weeks to go. Lockie Neal is probably close. Josh Dunkley has a week or 2 left to go as well in terms of dropping in price. So, yeah, we can bring these players in. The plan is round 13. Hopefully, if Rosie has DPP, chuck him in the back line. We can do some shenanigans with Sheasel moving him around. Or just kind of Rosie in the midfield, and that works too. Horn Francis to finish off this last midfield spot. So the plan this week, if Chera's out, would be someone like a Luke Trainer, Gawn alongside Chera. He's probably got an extra 100, maybe not 100k, barring a big 90 score, which is potential. He was definitely undervalued last week, but giving the score and whatnot, at the moment in terms of scoring, he's probably got an extra 30k. Cool, we'll take that. Here, Sheasel goes to there in the back line. We'll put him on field shortly. The plan was to chuck Ashcroft in there, and then Ashcroft in there. I'm a big fan of Cleary at the moment. I just like him for some reason. So if it ends up being Hewitt, then fantastic. But Cleary would come into the 6th position and then grab someone like a Petrarca. I really like the Richmond matchup. Sorry, the West Coast matchup. I think he's going to end up scoring a bunch of points against them. With him playing as well in the midfield, I can swap him out for a Pal Pepper later on. We can move some players around. It doesn't matter too much. And the extra 70-odd K from that would allow us to go Hall to Huswaite and then potentially an Ashcroft plus 150-ish K, could end up being like a Dunkley, for example. And then there's a midfield spot as well to be finished. So, yeah, it's not as bad as what it looks like. I am swapping a rookie for a rookie, but we'll take it as it comes. This is what the second plan probably would be like. One to finish in the back line. Hopefully that ends up being a Carroll's cash plus Reed equals, finished position. Would love some DPPs, some nice coverage, but mid-season draft will come and they'll give us some playing rookies for the rest of the year. It would be obviously Brayshaw captain again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rookies left to finish if I end up doing this. So it doesn't work out too bad. I have worked out a couple of other ideas to move players around as well, but maybe we'll have a look at that too. So 5 players left potentially with this setup. It's definitely doable with 21 trades, especially with us looking to go 1 up, 1 down. I'm more than happy to flick a Flynn, as I've said before. And Pal Pepper should get to 400, 450k. Ashcroft, if you get to 400k, I'm very happy. Cool, plus a Kako, plus a Stone. There's primo mids that can go straight in here. Heck, I can almost go like an Ashcroft plus Cash alongside Kako and get like a Lockie Neal next week. So, or a Sinclair, depending on how he scores. It's not too bad. Trade scenario number 3. Spoken about number 3. If I'm really ballsy, it would be Trainer plus an Ashcroft out. 624k. It's not a lot, but it is what we have at the moment. It would be similar to as well. Really like Petrarca. Forward line keeper, 497k. Doesn't have round 12 buy, which is what I'm looking for. And then grab someone like a Huthwaite or Oscar McDonald. Let's pretend we like Oscar McDonald, right? So pattern goes to, actually, no, I can put Petrarca in there. I'll put Sheasel there, and we just grab McDonald. If we were that keen on him, cool, we could do that. Oscar McDonald in, gets another rookie off the field, but then the back line kind of suffers quite a lot. So it's not really what we want. Yeah, it's not great. It really isn't. Not having DPP here hurts me so much. I had Henderson at one point. I had Hewitt at one point, but not being able to swap a Connor or a Connor Stone or a Kako and stuff through there isn't great. Potentially that could have been the run for us. Cool. And then from here, Lindsay comes on field. And obviously, we'll probably go Gawn or Merritt, just someone to cheer for against North Melbourne. Heck, probably don't even want him. We do something like a Carroll on the field. Not that it matters too much. And then what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rookies left. So it's not terrible in essence, in hindsight, but there's not a. I really need these guys to play, and I really doubt they will, which kind of suffers and hurts us a little bit. So yeah, just kind of a few ideas. Happy for the most part. The spine's definitely there in the team. We've definitely got a lot of players who can play positions, who can do quite well for us. It's just about going up in cash, really. And I haven't had the catch gen that a lot of other people have. So it really hurts. Guys, if you've stayed along this far, let me know down in the comments. Big J, trade ideas. What's happening? What's going on? Mate, it's going to be an interesting one. If you're coming to the North Melbourne versus Essendon game, Joe and I will be there. We do have allocated seats, but more than happy to hang around after the game or come and chat during halftime, whatever. I think we're level 1 on the wing. So, yeah, did quite well with that. We'll probably be out the front, maybe doing some drive home as well before the game starts. We'll have a look and see if we can find a quiet place. It is a bit rough. If not, the drive home potentially on the Friday as well as the team sheets drop. But we'll definitely do something on the Thursday. And maybe I might upload some more videos tomorrow, looking at some of the rookies, giving my thoughts on whatnot. I'm really adverse at this point in time to bring in players that aren't on the bubble. Like, I think Hustwaite is going to be fantastic. I think there's a couple of other players in a similar position that are going to be okay. Heck, Oscar McDonald isn't great, but he's all right. It's more just I can't afford at this point, given how my cash gen is, to really bring in guys that aren't going to make me money straight away. I don't care about the trades. We can finish off the team. Doesn't really matter. But it's more about just the cash gen and being like, cool, I don't want more dead rookies on my bench. I just can't afford it. It just doesn't work. I don't have the flexibility that some other people do. So we're kind of stuck in that scenario a little bit. Let me know how your teams are going. I think currently my team is valued at 12,238,000. So it's not, 232,000. So it's not a lot. I've seen some almost 13 million teams. I've seen some other content creators who have an extra 400k on me. And that's just having Reed, that's having Max Hall as starting picks. A few of these other guys. There's not really been rookies that I've got rid of. Maybe overpaid for a couple of players, but it's Supercoach, right? It's all about having fun, enjoying it, talking shit to your mates, but yeah, don't make anyone feel bad about their choices. Mental health's important. We'll see you on Thursday for the drive home. If not, review crew on Monday. My team review will be out on Sunday as well. I'll make sure to do that for you because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to.